Well, it might work on my phone. We'll give it a try here. That's better. Somebody's watching. Is it working, Albert? This technology is just, I don't know. Clayton says I'm on now. Awesome. It's working now. This is on my phone. Got 4 people. Come on, guys, speak up. Who we got out there? Still waiting on video for Cutting Edge. Is that the video for the serrated edge? I can't remember, I'm sorry. I can't remember, I'm sorry. Can't do that there. Sorry about that. I'm back, I think, maybe. Jay Paydirt says he can see me now. That's probably not an improvement, is it, Jeff? Clayton, you made a cutting edge. Is that for your front bucket or for your? I thought I made a video on that for your back bucket. I'm gonna have everybody on YouTube confused because we're like live, then we're not live, then we're kind of live, but not really because it's glitching. So Elite came back. Thank you. Sorry about all the. I know you got better things to do. Front bucket, cutting edge, cutting notches out of cutting edge. I'm sorry. That's talk to another guy about the back bucket. So did you just torch out like 3 inches every 3 inches or something like that? I really do need to build a new one, but I just haven't done it. Elite's still eating dinner. Apparently, my iPhone, Albert was right. He told me my iPhone would probably work better than my laptop or computer on the live stream. He did it 2 inch every 4 inches. That ought to work great. That'll give you more strength on that cutting edge. I can't remember what I did on mine. I think it was something like that. I think it might have been 2 inches every 3 or something, but 2 inches every 4. How do you like it? Is it working? Man, we got 12 people. You guys speak up. 13 now. Come on. Tell me who's here. If you got any questions, I'm pretty good at not knowing the answers. Hey, Sean, I'm glad you came back. Thank you. Night and day difference. You don't even feel tree roots anymore. I love that serrated front bucket cutting edge. It, um, I will never have another smooth edge on the front of my bucket again. In fact, I'd like to try it on my old, I've got half a notion to try that on my scraper. I need to put a new cutting edge on it, and I'm thinking about trying to notch it. I don't know if Jeff Anderson's probably not on here with us, but I don't know if he'd have any experience with that or not. But I like the serrated cutting edge on the front bucket. You can like cut where you used to be able to cut like an inch or 2 inches. You can cut like a half inch if you need to. And you're right, tree roots are not a problem. Tough F350, thank you for coming back. And now maybe you can actually hear me talk. I'm sorry I'm still ugly, but you know. Rowdy Lord. D9 don't need no stinking serrated. I was talking about your scrapers, Jeff. Come on now. Have you ever, well, I've seen scrapers that had like a deeper one down in the, hey, Steve Warner's up here. All right, welder man. Too many rocks, tooth buckets. Actually, TDEJ80, it's probably best you were late. My first stream didn't work worth a crap. Clayton Dietrich, serrated cutting edge is awesome on Motor Grader 2. Awesome. I've actually used that serrated cutting edge. I used to have a little patch down here I used to get Bermuda sprigs from, and I could take that bucket and I could strip them, and it would cut like 3 inches of sprigs and leave strips in between, so it would grow right back. What do I have coming up? Well, thank you for coming back, Soldier Dirt. I have, I'm not sure. I got rain coming in tomorrow night, so my footing job tomorrow canceled. But I'm working for an electrician, so we'll be digging probably some 4 foot deep or something like that ditches. There's a lot of footing jobs. There's a lot of new schools going in. One of the companies I work for that's some of their biggest business is schools, so we'll be doing a lot more of that, a lot more big footings. I've got some footage I haven't got together on I don't know, some different jobs, but I'm usually running a week or 2 behind on, I'm not really keeping up to date on that stuff. Got some neat drone footage today, but I'm kicking myself in the butt because I missed out on, I was flying a perfect circle around the job, but my drone was not recording, so that did no good. Albert, I'm glad you're back to work. It's nothing worse than being rained out for a week. A couple years ago, I was rained out. We had one May that I was only able to work 5 days, and that was not good. Rowdy Lord was rained out over a week last week coming down here in Texas. Still soggy, more coming tonight. I feel sorry for you, man. Last week was pretty wet here. but nothing like you guys got. Andrew Hill, the bucket teeth on my back bucket are actually a Series 230 or 23, depending on who sells them. I've actually had to weld. I cut off my New Holland shanks and I put on an aftermarket or a Series 23 shank because the teeth are cheaper and you got more selection on them. I've got a video on buckets. Is that Series 23 JD? Yeah, I think that's what John Deere calls it. I've got a video on. If you look in it's back a ways on my videos, but buckets 101. I've got some videos on welding shanks on a bucket and how I like to set them. You need to be sure you get them set right when you do them. I've done it wrong. I'm speaking from experience. I've done it the wrong way, and they will not. They won't cut a clean ditch. So be careful how you weld that stuff on. You need to have your teeth actually need to be wider than your bucket. If they're not, you'll be like me. You'll be disappointed. So let's say you've got an 18-inch bucket. The tips of your teeth on brand new teeth probably ought to be sticking out at least a 1/4 inch on each side, or maybe even a 1/2. Soldier of Dirt thinks it's interesting about my bucket shanks. And J80, teeth about 1 inch wider. One might be a bit more than I'd like, but I guess it depends on what you're doing. If you're running a big excavator, that 1 inch would probably be great. You definitely don't want them narrower. I like the double point. They call them Twin Tigers around here on rocky ground, Elite. I don't like rocky ground. If I've got a choice, I don't dig it. But I've got a video of digging some. I've got some footage of digging some elevator pits down in Oklahoma City. Yeah, the Series 23 shank, if you put that on your bucket, you can buy teeth at Case, you can buy teeth at New Holland, you can buy it at John Deere. I mean, everybody sells them. Tennessee is rocky as all we have. I'm sorry. You need rock teeth. Maybe jackhammer. Vacation to Idaho, go visit Jay Paydirt. That would be some great video of you two. I wish Jeff lived a little closer. I'd like to go see Jeff. He might not like to see me, but Rowdy, you are correct. Whenever I set up teeth, I've got them on the shank. I always buy brand new ones. Before I weld up a bucket, I'll put brand new teeth on it, and I'll make sure I've got all my clearances. Because after your teeth wear, I flip sides with them. Twin Tigers on. I run Twin Tigers on all of them. That way I can rotate them from inside to outside Elite. It just, you know, after your outside ones, they seem to wear off the quickest, and then I swap them out. I'm kind of cheap that way. Jay Paydirt still has my bumper. Better to wear the teeth in the bucket, Mr. J80. Yes, sir. I want to do a video on what a ditch should look like when you dig it, because if your ditches are shiny on both sides when you just make a pass through the middle, most likely your teeth are narrower than your bucket. And ideally, if I'm digging footings, I like to see a little fuzz on the sides of them ditches. I don't like to see a shiny ditch unless I'm having to dig over. Let's say I'm digging an 18 and they want 2 inches clearance for styrofoam, then it will shine up when I actually come back and make that pass. But if I'm just digging a straight trench, your ditch should actually be a little fuzzy on each side, or maybe have some little dingleberries. If you got a slick, shiny ditch on each side, there's one or two things is happening. Either your dirt's compressing, or your teeth aren't wide enough. They should be wider in your bucket. Maybe 3 things. I mean, the third thing could be you're taking too big of a bite. That can happen. I hope Jeff's keeping that bumper shiny. I have not done a video on how I got started in excavation. A brief history. It went to a professional truck polisher. Wow. A brief a brief history of how I got started was my dad used to dig footings for a lot of concrete companies, and he was really good. And he was in a car accident, hurt his neck, and he sent me to a job. All I had ever done at that point with a backhoe was maybe bury a dead horse or something like that. So I got sent out on a footing job, my first go round, and long story short, 27 years later, digging dirt is in my blood and I can't get rid of it. I love it. Rowdy says buckets with side cutters on them suck when you have a weak machine. I don't have any experience with those side cutters, but I have dug with it. I ran a Traco one time for a guy, and he had welded the teeth on narrower than a bucket, and the side cutters was trying to push through the dirt, and they will not dig. It's after you think about it a little bit, it makes sense. If you look at a machine tool or anything that cuts metal, it's the same principle. I mean, the cutting edge is the cutting edge needs to be wider, or your teeth need to be wider than your bucket for sure. Always had to hard face the teeth. Asphalt will tear up some teeth pretty quick. I don't know who commented who is he, but I'm not sure who you are either. My name's Frank. Next live video, so should do it in your shop next time, next to old Red in front, sir. Yeah, since I'm doing it on my phone, I might as well. I don't have to have, this is working better anyway, so I'll take you up on that. Other than it might be too cold out there or something like that this winter. That's a good idea, actually. How's the weather out there, Tough F350? You're out in California, right? It's hot. I didn't know it ever got hot in California. I thought it was always nice out there. Maybe it's a different part. 89. That's pretty warm. Do you feel right? You look really tired. I look like this most of the time. Allergies are kind of bad right now for me. Thanks for asking though. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm just ugly. California will fry you in the summertime. Southern California would probably be a good place to be for the allergies. If you guys haven't checked him out, check out To the Top Crane. He's helping me out a little bit here. Another guy I've been watching a little bit is Elite Earthworks LLC, I believe is the name of his channel. Check him out. Asphalt is pretty rough on equipment. I don't like cutting asphalt, but I do have to occasionally. And usually when I do that, I'm you know, digging a ditch for a plumber or something like that. And they usually like to keep it clean. Sometimes they'll saw through it, but they saw halfway, and that doesn't really help. So you end up doing quite a bit of pulling and straining. SA200 is the best machine in my opinion to weld with. That's all I do repairs with around here. That's the only machine I have to do welding. So thank you for watching. I'll keep trying to put out some content. The deal with my welding videos is I don't normally weld things until they're broke, and that's when if I've got time, I'll try to make you a video. My drone is a Phantom. It's a DJI Phantom 3 standard. It's the cheapest model I could get. One reason is I'm not rich, and the other reason is there's less. When I first thought about flying drones, I thought, well, maybe I could crash one once in a while, so that's why I went with a cheap one. But it works good. Ohio dropped 30 degrees in 3 weeks. We did that in one night here. We went from like 60 to 37 or something like that. And now we're back to normal, 65 or around. Well, it was 47 this morning when I left the house. Nice weather. If you're getting a drone, I'd recommend you get a DJI. I don't know if it matters which one, but I like them. If you can find an SA200 that works, you know, I've had mine. I bought mine. It was a year old when I bought it in '93. It's a '92 model, and it's just, you know, I haven't really been out pipeline welding or using it every day, so it's a good machine. Dirty Doug joined us. Thank you, sir. Sounds like your job worked out. I do not have a belly dump. I would like to find a single axle belly dump. I don't want a tandem. I want something Little Red can handle. But from a business standpoint, around here dump truck drivers work pretty cheap. And if I look at buying equipment and trying to do that, I take a pay cut. So that's kind of where I'm at. Three weeks of rain in Indiana and 85 to 50 in 4 days. I think I have a theory, and I'm not sure if it's right, but I think Donald Trump and Jeff Anderson, Jay Paydirt, aka, are changing the weather. They're changing the climate. I have a theory. I can't figure out why or what they're doing with it. It just seems to be messed up, and I'm blaming it on them. DJI is pretty good stuff. Roll-off truck drivers, pretty popular out there. I've seen those, what do they call those, transfer trailers, where they roll that trailer back, the trailer part back into the dump truck and then dump it. Dirty Doug, you might make me laugh. You usually do in your comments. Dirty Doug might be in on this climate change deal. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him. We got 36 people on this stream. This is awesome. Thank you, guys. I guess it's better when it works. Jeff is trying to put Soldier Dirt out of business. That could be. I don't know. I don't think he hates you, though. I thought he kind of liked you. 72 model SA200 is still going strong. Those are good machines, man. You can't beat DC. For me, I don't like MIG welding. I never have. I had a MIG welder at one time. I sold it. I didn't like it. Every time I went to use it, the tip was plugged up or the wire stuck, or so just to save my frustration, I sold the stupid thing. It was probably a piece of crap. If I had a good MIG welder, I'd probably change my mind. But I can weld anything I need to weld with SA200 or a torch, acetylene oxygen torch. I'm glad you think this is worth calling off work for, man. I am in Oklahoma. Maybe he does want to hire Soldier Dirt to run a scraper. That could be his ploy. I don't know. The question I have, though, is what does Donald Trump have to do with it? Because I think he's involved. Jeremy Robb, where are you at in Oklahoma? I can't get a bison yoke to fit on my mother-in-law. Any suggestions? I don't know how you're still married, sir. Skytuck, I've been there. I dug a footing for a casino up there about 5 years ago. I wasn't there but just a couple days. Pretty country out there. That's green country. I like it out there. Back to bison yokes. I don't have any bison. We used to have, my brother used to have some mules. He used to put some yokes on, but we never did that. Jeremy, we're not too far away. Why are women's feet? Uh-oh, here we go. Dirty Doug, Jeff Anderson may have your advice you need. Okay, Jeff, why are women's feet shorter than men's? Hillary could be changing the weather so they can. I'm gonna leave that one there, Jeff. Hillary could have something to do with the climate change and all that hot air. I agree. There's no doubt something, she caused something to happen. My wife's not around, so I guess we can do wife jokes, but why did the woman cross the road? I don't know why Jeff doesn't do a live stream. This guy is hilarious, but he needs to do a live stream. All right, Jeff, why did the woman cross the road? Oh my goodness. Well, I gotta ask you, Jeff, do you have any advice for yoking the bison on your mother-in-law, or putting a bison yoke on your mother-in-law? Jeremy had a 69 SA200, now a Miller Bobcat. I've ran a Miller Bobcat. Those are actually pretty nice machines. I've considered buying a Bobcat because of the fact of having AC power, and it would be a darn good backup generator. Jeff's on a roll. All right, Jeff, why don't women wear wristwatches? Because there's a clock on the stove. Gotcha. Oh, I love it. You weld on Traco buckets, cutting edges, dump trucks. Do you have a repair business or do you work for someone else, Jeremy? Oh, the SA200. Yeah. Or the Bobcat. The Bobcat's a good machine, don't get me wrong. I pick on people that have Millers, but actually, you know, like I said, I've actually considered buying one, so. The fact of having AC power and 220 power on your truck is nice. I could see a lot of times that, but I've got a small generator, so you know. I actually went to my Lincoln dealer one day, and I told him. He said, I said I'm thinking about trading my SA200 in for believe it was a Lincoln. I can't remember if it was a Ranger 10, something like that. And I thought, well, that'd be nice because when the power goes out at my house, I can, um, you know, I have a generator. And he told me, he said, you don't want to do that. He said the best thing you could do would be buy a generator. Keep your Lincoln. He says you're not going to like not having the direct DC power. I do weld some pipe occasionally for some plumbers, and I'm not great at it. I'm not like an expert, but you know, I can get the job done. So for me, having the SA200 is just a nice machine. It works great. I know how to use it. It's simple for me to understand. Um, I'm not a welder by trade. I did make a living at it for a little bit, but you know, that's kind of the DC is hard on power tools, and I agree with you. I don't think the tools make as much power. I haven't had any problem with them burning up. You work in a shop and have a truck for side work. Side work's great. I still do, I guess, what you consider side work. I take on all kinds of jobs. 42 Fab made it. Thank you, sir. He's Mr. Big Time. He's just down the road in Oklahoma City. You need an engine drive machine. If you ever bought one, you would never regret it. Eagle 10,000, that may be the Lincoln. Which side of the pilot controls do you like to run? And JP Dirt, you and JP Dirt are the most informative things. So that's mighty nice of you. Jeff is definitely top of the line, top notch. On my backhoe, I learned on a 4-stick Ford. So the next backhoe we got was a 2-stick with the wobble sticks. So my brain has been programmed to run the John Deere controls, or you know, the backhoe sticks. I have tried. I've got a switch in my cab and I can switch them, but I cannot run. I'm not good at running the other controls. Um, Maybe someday. Hope I'm not missing anybody here. 42 Fab, you've went up in subscribers pretty quick. 5,000 is a pretty big deal. I like hanging out at the shop and having a beer at the end of the day. This is good stuff. I'm hoping you like it. This is something I'd like to try to do, and you guys recommend what you think I ought to do. I'm thinking maybe once a month we try to do at least. I might do a premiere and then maybe a live stream after, once we figure this out. We've got the Lincoln that compares to a okay. The Eagle 10,000 compares to a Bobcat 250. Those are both good machines. If you hear me knocking them, don't worry about it. If you got a machine that gets the job done, it's like a case guy saying what New Hollands are junk. I've been making a living with New Holland backhoes for over 19 years, so it's okay. I'm not gonna cry if you don't. Elite learned on a 4-stick. The 4-stick, was it a case or a Ford? Because there is a difference. The 4-stick Ford has swing on the, I believe it was on the left hand, and your bucket was in the middle, and then your boom up and down, and your stick was over here. It was a little different. A case 4-stick has foot controls for swing, and you got to extend a hole on one of your sticks. So I actually learned on one that didn't have extend a hoe, and it was a Ford. So I've been on case 4-sticks. I can run one. I'm not very good at it. Mr. Robinson's here. Hello, Jaquan. I might have missed something. Appreciate you tuning in. Soldier Dirt likes the case 4-sticks. A lot of guys do. A lot of, Case was one of the originators of the backhoe. They was the first one with the real deal. Elite, it's good to hear I'm not alone. Old Red, sir. I call her Little Red, but it is old. Little Red is a 73 Kenworth, and I have owned that truck since 1998. Kubota A or B lever run like Cat or John Deere? I do not know. I'm not sure. I've seen guys with case 3-sticks smoke a cigarette while they're digging. Jaquan asked if I have tractors. I've got a 930 case and a 9N, or it's actually a 2N Ford that was purchased by my grandfather. So my truck, I've got a W900. Let's Dig. J Pay Dirt can only run 1 stick. Let's Dig gave you hell for running that pattern. A lot of people will. I wouldn't be surprised if Soldier Dirt won't give you a hard time for running that pattern. They claim that if you've got sticks, you need to have a. Oh, this is going downhill in a hurry now. Here's my thought on it. Excavators have a switch. Why do they have a switch? Because there's some of us out here that can run them better if you switch them. Maybe Let's Dig can talk to Volvo and get them guys to take that off, and that might fix the problem. I don't know. You're probably right on the A runs like a John Deere and B runs the way it is on mine. It has 1 and 2 on the switch, and number 1 is let's see, number 1 is like John Deere controls, and if you flip it down, it's like the excavator controls or the cat controls. What color is the truck? It's red. Give me a shout if you come down to OKC. I'm down there pretty regular. I was down there Friday last week. We do need to meet sometime. A sign for my business would be awesome. I'm not sure I could repay you for that. Whatever pattern works best. I can't believe he said that. Come on now. You're hardcore. I can get the job done, so who cares? I have never had anybody walk up to my backhoe and say, you need to flip them controls because you're not doing a very good job. So I'm okay with it. If somebody wants to make fun of me, that's fine. I've seen Elite run his excavator. He does a pretty good job. And it might be backwards, but that's okay. MLW, do I plan on sticking with New Holland? Yes, sir. One of the reasons is buckets. I have 4 buckets that I use on the back of that hoe, and if I switch to another brand, I've got to change all of them. And they're good buckets. I don't need to buy new buckets. Another thing about New Holland is they're cheaper. And I know you cat guys probably don't like it, but that's okay too. Thank you, 09 James. All my equipment, for the most part, gets repaired here. The only exception might be my wife's car when a transmission goes out or something like that, and I ain't got time to mess with it. I don't have time to put a piece of equipment in the shop and let a mechanic say it's going to be 3 days before it's fixed. It goes in the barn out here when it comes home, and it's hopefully fixed before the next morning or by the weekend or whatever. Uh, 42 Fab makes some really nice signs. Y'all need to check out his channel too. He's got some slick stuff. All thumbs either way. I weld and sling chrome. Not everybody is into digging. It's more what you're accustomed to. Northwest Oklahoma, where you at, rancher? I was just out in Guymon a couple weeks ago. Was Little Red built in Ohio? I will have to check on that. It was built for Midwest Trucking in... I'll have to look that up too. I can't remember. Let's see, if a 4-stick that was backwards from what he was used to, so he crossed his hand. I've seen that happen too. If you go from a Ford 4-stick to a Case 4-stick, you just about have to cross your hands or you won't understand it. It's the deal with it is you can learn both patterns, but I don't really have the time to go out here and mess with that. The tractors and the sprayers, combines. I grew up on a farm, so my dad's got a lot of tractors. My dad and my brother they still farm a little bit. "42 Fab, are you back home or are you still on your tour?" What all equipment do I have? My bread and butter equipment is my backhoe and my Kenworth and trailer. That's what almost every day I get in that truck and I drive to a job and I do the job. I've got an old 930 case out here. Every now and then I get in and do a little bit of dirt work, like building pads and that kind of stuff, and I might pull it out and do it. I don't have a lot of equipment. I'm one guy. I do all this myself. and I'd like to get bigger. I'd like to have more. I'd like to have more equipment, but the backhoe is one of the machines that I've found that can make the most money for me. I can haul one machine to a job. I can move dirt. I can load trucks. I can dig ditches, pretty nice ones sometimes. And I've never had anybody complain and say, well, that machine's too big, that machine's too, you know. The tractor loader backhoe is the best thing for me to make money with. 42 Fabs back home. Look forward to looking at some of your other videos. I caught one the other night where you were up in, can't remember where that was. Oh, yes, I do work over Stillwater Way. I did a school footing for, if you look at my videos, look at the one called cabinet work. I did that on 51 Highway there, right there in Stillwater. Do you live in Stillwater, Sean? Muscle memory, yes sir. Soldier Dirt has it right. It's kind of like skid steers. If I get in a skid steer, I always think that this ought to be the loader up and down, and this ought to be the bucket tilt, and this over here ought to drive. And I can run one like that, but if you got foot pedals and sticks, I have a lot of problem with that. And I don't have to make 2 trips. Yeah, that's the thing is, I've seen guys that can haul both pieces of equipment on one trailer, but then they usually are really small pieces of equipment. Al 66572, be careful what you learn from me, it might not all be right. I have my backhoe, just to give you guys, I don't know if you know, but my backhoe has 9,200 hours on it right now. So I don't run brand new equipment that much. I mean, of course it was new at one time, but Stillwater is a nice area, yes sir. Elite says he needs a bigger truck and trailer now. Jeff, you made us all laugh. Thank you for stopping in. Appreciate you, brother. Someday I'm gonna come to Idaho, get that bumper. Rowdy says, oh, thank you, sir. The thing about operating, I don't think it's something that, I think it's something anybody can do, but the problem I had starting out with operating is I had some big shoes to fill. My dad was a really, really good operator. So it was really, really tough to go into a job knowing what he could do and then seeing what I could do. So my advice to you as an operator is, if you want to get better, learn new techniques. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of people will fill the bucket up in the first 2 feet of the stroke on their backhoe, whether it be a track hoe or anything else. If you want to dig nice, clean ditches, you make a full stroke for every bucket, and it might be an inch deep, it might be 1.5 inches, it might be 2, it might go up and down a little bit, but that's how you make a clean ditch. There's a little more that goes with that, but it takes patience. You can't rush. I mean, but the deal is, if you're moving less dirt from the ditch, you're actually quicker. £12,000 each, Mr. Elite. That's pretty heavy for one truck. That would be an overload for Little Red, I think. I could put them on there. I've hauled 30. I've hauled 36 on it before. 37. Trailer length is the problem. MLW is north of Shawnee. That's not far from here. Tag trailer, skid steer, and Mini X. I was wondering, Elite, can you put one of those in your dump truck? Might be interesting. Soldier Dirt, thanks for helping me out tonight. Appreciate you, brother. Jeremy Robb, yes, I have installed storm shelters. I've got a video of putting one in. I can't remember what I called it, but it's in that playlist somewhere. It's back there about a year. Too big to fit in your dump truck. Three scoops of load, that's pretty quick. Skytook, I'm probably, it's about 2.5 hours, I think, from here. Something like that. But I work all over Oklahoma. I've been, I was in Durant. If you look at the video, I've got big footing job. I was in Durant. I've been to Guyman. Worked quite a bit over around Tulsa. I've been to Tahlequah. I don't go out of the state because of you get into DOT crap. Good night, Albert. 42 fab, it depends on the job. If the job's more than one day, the equipment stays on the job. I'll just drive the truck home. Most of the time, they're one-day jobs. So maybe, like today, I was in Hennessy. Tomorrow, I'm going to Oklahoma City. So I put a lot of miles on the little truck. But I live out here where there's not a lot of people, so I'm not a city guy. I will take you up on that lunch deal. That'd be awesome. My phone says it's about to die. Hopefully that don't happen. If it does, we'll end the stream. I'll have to look that up. 42 fab. I think I'm gonna be up on MacArthur. Let's see, is it MacArthur? And I'm up off of Kilpatrick Turnpike tomorrow. Jeremy Robb, McGuire Brothers Construction. Where all do they work? You're 15 minutes from there. Man, I may need to hit you up on that. I'd buy your lunch if you come got me. Tulsa. You're at I-44 and 235. No kidding. Eric Leach, I can outdig you with a Mini X. I'm glad Eric finally showed up. Me and Eric are gonna, I think we're gonna have to make a video of that. If you really think, we might even take bets on it. I don't know if that's legal. Can you do that on YouTube? Can you put bets on? I guess it might depend on a dig off. There we go. We need to have a dig off. I guess it might depend on what you consider. Eric says that wouldn't be a good idea for me. Probably not. I don't know if I can outdig a Mini X. I just don't know, Eric. Uh-oh, here we go. Now we're going to get serious. What brand is your Mini X? Come on. I think he's got a Yanmar or something. What you got, Eric? Whatever's the cheapest. Oh, shoot. I thought you ran a Caterpillar. I'm ready for a dig off. We need to have a dig off. Oh, the cat it wouldn't be fair to use. Okay. So you're going to take the cheapest Mini. What size Mini X? We need to know what size. Takeuchi, Takeuchi, or something like that. I don't know if I'm saying it. Takeuchi is how I say it. Those are nice machines. I've ran one before. I really like them. I like their skid steers too. I know they're not Caterpillar, but what size buckets? What size trench? There we go. That's a good question. How far are we moving the dirt pile? I think he's bluffing. I don't think he really wants to dig off, but there you go. Do you have to move your own dirt? Some good questions. Prattville, limestone rock everywhere. That might give me a little bit of an advantage, but I sure don't like digging rock. Jess Hopkins joined us. Thank you, sir. How's everything going? This deal's probably going too long. I don't know. Anytime you guys are about done with it, we'll shut her down. But I guess we scared Eric off. I don't know. $42 Fab. It's good to see you. I'll try to catch you tomorrow if I got time. I don't know if I'll have time to eat lunch. We'll just have to see how it goes. Thank you for joining me tonight. We are doing good. 42 Fab shot me an email. Thank you, sir. 42 Fab's got some pretty cool signs he builds. He's got plasma tables. That guy's pretty talented. Kind of at the way he builds signs I've never seen before, but they're really nice. Eric's Takeuchi broke down. Well, it may have. If y'all don't know, Eric's my nephew. He's just trying to give me crap. He knows better. He is pretty stout. He might be able to keep up with a shovel. Eric builds houses. He's gonna make some videos one of these days of some time lapse he's got on a house he's building, I hope. I think it'd be good to put a camera on Eric. every day. Camera broke. Oh crap, his camera broke. How would you rank the following machine if you were looking at a machine? Extend the hoe 4x4, 4-in-1. For what I do, I need extend the hoe and 4-wheel drive. 4-in-1 would, I think, would be kind of nice, but I don't know that I think it's extra weight for what I'm doing, and it's just extra. It'd really be nice if you're doing some demo work. If you're doing something like picking up chunks of concrete, definitely go for a 4-in-1. It depends on what you're doing. If you watch my videos, most of what I'm doing is just digging ditches. I might move spoils or load spoils. I very rarely get into demolition work, but I would prefer to have joysticks over. If you're looking at machines, I need joysticks on one now. I've got spoiled. Let's see there. Self-taught operator, a lot of people to learn from. Keep up the good work and videos. Thank you. I will keep up the videos. I'll try to get some out on, maybe give you some more information on how to be a better operator. I don't know. A lot of what I've learned is common sense. The main thing on the job I won't tell anybody is don't hurt nobody. Try to keep people safe. Extend the hoe cylinder is a pain in the butt, yes sir. In that one video I've got where I completely disassemble the boom, I get down to it, but I'm glad you enjoy the videos. That's always good to hear. If you guys watch something you like them, you know, let me know. If you don't like them, let me know why. That's okay too. I do this mostly for fun. There's a little bit of money coming in now that I've got. You know, I'm not retiring yet, but good morning. It's morning somewhere, I guess. It's not really morning here, but this may go on all night. Glad you enjoyed my videos, Jeremy. I want to ask you something about the videos. Do you like just the machine stuff, or do you like to see the truck? Do you like to see, I mean, who wants to see Frank cut 6 inches? Oh my gosh. Jeremy, thanks for joining. 4 a.m. is way too early. Thank you, sir. Come back and see me. I am Japanese. It is morning in Japan. I got Japanese people watching this live stream. I don't know how that happened. Thank you for watching, though. Mix of everything. I tend to agree, mix of everything. I don't know that the hard part of the videos is putting everything in one video, so a lot of times I may just focus on one thing for one video. But if I can, I try to throw a little bit of other stuff in there. Y'all check out Elite Earthworks, okay? That guy's got some pretty neat stuff. He's got some cool camera angles. MLW, I like everything. Thank you, sir. Variety show with 1 star. If I was a good actor, it'd probably help. Good to know you like the variety. Well, Clay, we need to make more videos of that, because that happens almost every time Eric's here. Happens when he's on this live stream too, apparently. They are a little taste. I don't video everything I do. There's a lot of stuff I don't do. I also have the little town of Mulhall. I'm actually the water and sewer operator there, so I do some of that stuff too. But it's pretty minimal. But I don't video a lot of that stuff. But I do have a water license. I do know a little bit about that stuff. I have installed some utilities. A lot of guys like my welding videos, and I'm sorry there's not more of them, but when things break, there will be more of them, I promise you. But I don't just make a video just to make a video. I don't have time to do that. I wish I did. Maybe someday when I get more money, I can just stop working and just make videos, but don't count on it. Learn something new every day, 26 years. I learn something every day too. I learn by my mistakes mostly. The expensive ones seem to take pretty quick. I started out, I guess, to give you a little background, I started out, when I went to school, I took diesel mechanics in Votech when I was in high school. I actually worked for a John Deere dealer for a little bit, so I do know a little bit about mechanics. I've rebuilt the engine in Little Red completely, pulled it out, sent it to a machine shop, put it all back together, and it's been running it's probably close to 500,000 miles since I rebuilt it, and that may happen again. I may have some videos on rebuilding that someday. I'm not ready for that yet. I can't afford it, but it's too good a truck to park. That video of me and Eric putting gauges in his welder, I deleted out most of the trash talk. Tanaki Tellurian, Japanese man. Welcome. I don't know what that means. Maybe Frank working on a 92. Yeah, Eric just bought another truck. He sold the Freightliner, and now he's got a 92 Dodge Cummins. Pretty neat little truck, actually. I haven't got to see it, but pictures he showed. Eric drags stuff over here almost every weekend, and if I don't hurry and get my stuff in the barn and in the shop first, Eric's got his crap in my barn and in my shop, so then we have to fix it first, and then I have to go fix mine after that's done. He usually leaves at that point, so, you know, bring it on over, shoot, yeah, we'll fix it. The repair welding, I learned that from working on farm machinery. And a lot of what I learned is from my dad and my brothers. My brother Gary's a really good welder. My dad's a good mechanic. So those, you know, growing up on a farm is probably where I got most of my common sense, I guess you would say. But repairs, I've got a method I use, and a lot of people, you know, on some of my videos, they comment on it that, you know, you can do it and you can do it another way. Repairing stuff can be done more than one way, but I have got to a point where I'm pretty confident with how I do stuff, and I try to share that when I can. I've got a couple of decent videos on repair. I think I've gotten a little better at maybe the editing since then, but like I say, all my repair videos, you're not going to see a MIG welder. Someday I may get a TIG that will work with my Lincoln. I can't wait. But I guess I got a friend in Japan. Dodges are good. Does Eric have a job? That's a good question. Eric is self-employed, believe it or not. He builds houses, he builds barns, he builds concrete houses, actually. You know, with the foam blocks and the concrete filler. But is he actually... I don't know if he's employable. That's a good question. Maybe he can answer, I don't know. We're dropping in numbers. You guys are all going to bed, I guess. We may need to shut this down here a little bit, but depends on the weather and his mood. That's a fact right there. He's a good worker if he's in the mood. I have never tried Spray Arc MIG, Dual Shield, or Inner Shield. Jess Hopkins would like to start making videos, never seem to get the time to do them. I hear you, brother. Making videos takes a lot of time, but if you figure it out and you use simple stuff, what I've learned is I used to take too much footage. I used to film like all day long, and then when you go to editing, you're spending all your time. You spend all your time trying to find what you wanted to use. So recently, I've just been taking bits and pieces, and I just try to film bits and pieces. And then when I go to edit, I don't have to look through so much stuff. It saves me a little bit of time. TIG is nice. You TIG pipe? That's pretty nice. TIG welding is something I want to try. I've never done it, but I'd like to get a setup for it. Someday I may make a video on how I do videos. I don't know if you're interested in how I do it. Thick or thin steel. Well, you know, it was a long time before I realized they make a 1/16 6011 welding rod, and you can do some really thin welding with a DC welder with that. Thank you, Sean. We'll have another one someday. Have a good evening. I don't know that I put all of the swing cylinder video together. Boy, I had fits putting mine together last time I rebuilt the swing cylinders. The backhoe I had before this one, it was easy to rebuild them, but this one it took all day to do both of them. But I hope you can learn something. Appreciate you watching, MLW. I need to find you one of these days. TIG has to be clean. Probably pretty good advice. Any ideas for the next live stream? I had a suggestion for being out in the shop, maybe with the truck. Anything you guys would like to see on live stream? If you think it's clean enough, clean it some more. That sounds pretty tedious. I don't know if I could get along. I may not be able to TIG weld. I'm not real clean. most of the time. Tough F350, you want to see more Little Red? I have welded some stainless steel pipe with stick welder. I've never done TIG though. It was actually worked better than I thought it would. I'll try to get some more video of Little Red. Mr. Elite, I'm glad you joined me. I probably ought to get to bed too. Looks like a lot of folks are dropping off. About that time. Hey guys, I really appreciate you watching. We will do this again, and I'm looking at maybe once a month. If you guys got any suggestions on best time to do this, I know this is kind of, I didn't really plan this one that well, but let me know what the best time is for you guys. I'll see if it works out with my timing, but we'll do it again, and hopefully I'll get to meet some of you people sometimes. I'm gonna sign out. If I can figure out how to do that.